Hi everyone, Cheryl here. It is April 7th, 2024. I felt compelled to create this video today because I have been getting a lot of feedback from clients, and a lot of my clients are exhibiting symptoms that are very unusual and recurring, and nothing seems to help what they're going through. Um, Everything from skin problems and cold flu type symptoms with extreme symptoms, along with sinus and digestive and bowel and cramping and things that just go on and on and on that are not normal. They may have symptoms for a week, think that they're done, and then it comes back with a vengeance, and it fluctuates and it goes up and down and up and down. And even the people that have issues with their skin, the same thing is happening. Um, I also have more clients that are reporting having cancer, and they're also having these problems, even though they do everything right. By all standards, they should be the healthiest people on the planet. Exercising and eating organic and not drinking and not smoking and doing all the right things, eating the right foods, drinking quality water. Um, all of these things are not making a difference. And so when I have these things happening, I will often, have conversations with um, my guides and spirit to find out why this is happening or what's going on. And so, I did that last night, and unfortunately, I didn't sleep last night because I was getting information, and I just decided to get out of bed and make this video because it's, I'm not going to pretend to be a scientist or that I'm well versed in everything to do with this subject. I am just the messenger. And I felt compelled to share this information because it was given to me as an explanation. And, what little research I did, it seems to make sense. And I also am a firm believer that science is an evolving um, pursuit. It is never written in stone. What we know now and today could be totally unproven tomorrow. And so, when people say to trust the science, and, yes, to a certain extent. But there are things that we are doing, measuring with instruments that is based on what our knowledge is and not necessarily the full picture. Um, you know, we are only capable of measuring something with an instrument that we have that may not show the whole picture of what's going on in the universe. So with that in mind, I'm sharing this information. So what I was given was that, and I think it's timely, and I'm going to just backtrack a little bit here. Um, and I want to clarify something because this is not just to do with our eclipse that we have happening tomorrow, although that is timely, and there is some relativity to this conversation. But that's not my motivation in presenting this video. My motivation was to help people. I have been, like I said, a practitioner for 40 years. I've seen lots of cycles and ailments over the years, and people having various conditions and getting help with various holistic therapies and remedies. And what we're experiencing right now is very different and very unusual. And so that's why I was posing this question and needed some clarification and some answers. So keeping in mind that this is not just a, solar eclipse related topic, although it is connected. So basically the information I was given was that the sun releases neutrinos through the process of creating helium with, and I don't even remember all of the details, like what chemicals or elements are formed with that. Anyway, there's a process where these neutrinos are released. And the neutrinos, according to science, pass through our body at a rate of something like, I don't know, I made a note of it because I thought, oh, I have to look this up. I didn't know what that was all about. 100 billion neutrinos will pass through us every second. That's a lot of neutrinos. I don't know, they claim, and again, this is with what we know today and what scientists are claiming, that neutrinos are a byproduct of this fusion process of releasing helium. And the neutrinos are just a light and heat emission. However, there have been some more recent studies, I believe, that are aware that the numbers that pass through the earth versus the numbers that pass through a person versus the ones that are just traveling through space are all different. And there are different kinds of neutrinos, and depending on what they're interacting with. But science claims that these pass through our body with no effect. Now, I don't believe that. I think that's sort of naive to think that that could happen. I think maybe we just don't know how to measure it. Maybe we don't know what the long-term implications of a neutrino is on the body as it passes through the body. Maybe there are other factors involved that we just don't know. Anyway, so these neutrinos are emitting from the sun, and I was told that the sun is going through a metamorphosis right now. This has been building over a long time, and that it is densifying, and that the neutrinos are changing, and they are interacting with our body and with the atoms in our cells, so that the neutrons and protons and electrons in our cells are reacting and responding to the neutrinos that are being emitted from the sun. And it is also, according to what I've been told, it is also affecting our pH, and it is affecting the iron content of our blood. And the pH issue, I mean, we know that if your pH is off, that you will be more prone to having health issues. And it has been proven that people who have cancer have a pH out of balance. They are often too acid, and they need to alkalize their body. And so this is what is happening to a lot of people right now, is that they are too acidic as a result of this neutrino bombardment, and that the neutrinos have changed. The sun has changed, and how it's emitting these neutrinos and how it's affecting our body and our immune system and iron content. So, low energy, feeling sick more often. Now, some people are going to say, well, maybe it's COVID, maybe it's long COVID. I don't know. I'm just the messenger. I'm just sharing information from what I've been told. I'm not convinced that these have anything to do with that big flu. I think this is a different topic altogether. However, how it connects to the eclipse is that when the moon will pass in front of the sun, and I know here in Calgary we won't have the totality, but there will be some partial coverage. The blocking of the sun with the moon for that period of time will slow down the neutrinos that are reaching us and impacting us. So it won't be as intense, and we will have a bit of reprieve. So that's something to make note of, and maybe you can pay attention to that and how you're feeling. If you have some ongoing symptoms, notice whether you feel an improvement or not, or whatever. I mean, I'm open to hearing feedback on this, and if there are people that are more educated with solar cycles or information or neutrinos that want to share information with me, I'm more than happy to listen or hear your side of the story. But this is information I trust. Uh, I've never been steered wrong with any information that I have received, and I feel quite confident that um, this offers a viable explanation to me, because it seems like no matter what people are doing, they're not getting results. And things that would normally help them and normally work for them, whether it be herbs or supplements or dietary changes or exercise or whatever, they're just not seeing the same results that they normally do. And this is sort of that variable that comes into play that, I mean, I have no knowledge of um, neutrinos per se. I'm just, like I said, I'm the messenger. This is information that I received. And so these neutrinos, if they're passing through our body at such a tremendous rate, I mean, that's an awful lot. What did I say? 100 billion, every second? That's a lot. And to think that that doesn't have an impact on us, I don't believe that to be true. We just haven't been able to verify it or measure it or, have scientific evidence of how that plays out. But to have that kind of bombardment and not be affected in some manner, I think is, in my mind, seems kind of naive. But anyway, so the things that people can do right now is try and improve your pH. Try not to be eating too many processed foods. Sticking to a holistic and wholesome diet. Quality foods like organic fruits and vegetables, pasture raised animals, all of that is important. But also, and I can verify some of this for myself. I do. I have biofeedback equipment, and my pH was slightly on the acidic side, so this is something that everybody can do. They can be taking some baking soda and water, half a teaspoon in a glass of water. That will help to alkalize your body. And the other thing is to be eating foods rich in iron. So lots of leafy greens, spinach and other leafy greens, juicing. Beets are high in iron, of course, liver, things like that. But to be eating a more higher concentration of iron-rich foods would probably be helpful, because apparently these neutrinos, because they're coming off of a densified sun, the neutrinos are changing and they are affecting our body differently. And so the iron levels are, reacting in our blood. Like we're not able, I don't know if it's being yes, I'm being told that the iron is being destroyed or affected, so it's not metabolized correctly. And so, to have those iron-rich foods is important. And that could also contribute to some of the symptoms that people are experiencing with breathing and oxygen levels, because, like we know that iron carries oxygen. So if the iron is not being metabolized and our iron levels and our iron in the blood is low, then our oxygen levels will be lower and breathing issues will be more prominent. And so this is all connected to these neutrinos. So, again, the eclipse may create a pause. It will subdue it for a while, and then, of course, it will resume. But you could get some reprieve, and you might want to make note of how you are feeling, before, during, and after this eclipse. So the eclipse is happening tomorrow. There will be a partial visibility here in Calgary. I witnessed the last one we had in 2017. That was in August of 2017, and I have the proper eclipse glasses, and I was watching it outside, and I glanced down and saw an amazing display of the pinhole effect from the spaces in the tree leaves, and my whole front sidewalk was covered in images of the eclipse, and it was kind of cool. The interesting thing about the eclipse was the energy that you could feel. It was palpable. It was, it was like everything stood still momentarily. The birds stopped singing. The temperature dropped. You could feel a noticeable drop in the temperature because it was in 2017. It was a beautiful sunny day, and this took place at around, I believe, around 11:30 or 11:45. So it was when the sun was, at its peak, and it was an amazing experience to feel the energy of it, and to the stillness that went with it, and the fact that the birds stopped singing, and then the neighborhood dogs were barking, and there was this stillness to the air that just sort of everything paused, and it was, the whole energy was very distinct while this was passing in front of the sun. And so, yeah, I took pictures because when I had my glasses on, I'm looking up, and of course, all I can see is one little, sun with the moon passing in front of it. And then I look to the ground, and there's like probably hundreds or more of all of these larger images of the eclipse on the ground. So that was very cool. Anyway, so yeah, tomorrow we have that happening. You might want to make a mental note of how you're feeling, and if you notice any changes in your health, or any symptoms that you may have been having, if they ease up at all. So yes, I'm just reviewing my notes that I wrote down, and so that, yeah, the sun is densifying. That's what I was told. So it's like it's becoming heavier and denser, and so are the neutrinos that are they are also densifying from the sun. Um, so yeah, the neutrinos are formed during, according to my notes, nuclear fusion, when the protons and hydrogen fuse to form helium. Anyway, so I hope this information is helpful to you, and that you, if you're having some health symptoms that are unusual, this potentially could provide an explanation. This is what I was told. Again, I'm not a scientist, and I'm not proclaiming to be, super knowledgeable on everything about the sun and fusion and neutrinos. I'm just the messenger. And this is the information that I was given. I always make notes. This is all going to be fuel for a book at some point, messages from Spirit. So anyhow, sharing this with you today, I hope that that has been helpful to you, and I welcome any feedback. Anyway, have a great day.